Oh, gotcha. Yeah, okay. It's just...
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Rosslyn Hill Chapel, a spiritual home for open minds. I'm James Chiriankandith, one of the chapel elders, and I'm your worship assistant today. Today we explore our task and our privilege to cherish the earth, led by Alison Bybee, our current chair of the Chapel Board of Trustees. We have a creche for children aged 2 to 5 and a children's program, Bright Lights, for older children. Babies under 2 are welcome in the creche if accompanied by an adult. If you're watching at home, please join the virtual side aisle at midday. The Zoom link was in the weekly email, and you can find it via the link in the YouTube description. And those of you in the chapel, do join us for refreshments in the side aisle after the service. Our bookcase library is now available every Sunday, where you can borrow books about Unitarianism and other world religions and philosophies. If you wish to borrow a book, please write your details in the blue book before removing it. In addition to our morning service, today we have a book club from 2 to 4 on the theme of Cherishing the Earth. And it's the first of 4 monthly book clubs, and today's is on prophetic voices. So it's talking about cherishing the earth, nourishing the spirit, and there will also, I understand, be some tea and cake. There's a mindfulness meditation at 6, which runs for half an hour, and then our regular evening gathering. This is a heart and soul gathering to reflect on life in the company of others, and it will be led by Michael Allored, the minister from our sister chapel in Golders Green. You can find information about these and all our activities in your service sheet and on our website. And you can also pick up a copy of our Open Mind newsletter from the steward's table at the back of the chapel. Our collection will take place during the closing music. You will have an opportunity to make a donation in cash or by card. This month, the offering will be shared between the work of the chapel and this month's good cause, I Am Somebody's Child Soldier. And now, it's my pleasure to hand over to Alison.
Good morning. We light the chalice as a symbol of our free and questioning Unitarian faith. Today's chalice lighting words are by Michel Lagrave. We come to religious community from many paths with diverse needs. If you have come here seeking comfort, may your pain be soothed. If you have come here looking for answers, may you find new questions. If you have come here seeking purpose, may your call be awakened. If you have come here hoping to build a new way, may the path open before you. I will light one more candle as a prayer for peace in recognition of the many armed and violent conflicts that are currently taking place around the world. Whoever you are, and wherever you are on life's journey, there is a place for you here in our spiritual community. Whatever your race, gender, sexuality, class, age, physical and mental capability, wherever you come from and wherever you are going, we welcome you in the spirit of love. We come together each Sunday and we like to get to know each other. So please turn to someone near you, say your name, and welcome them to chapel this morning. Listen out for the music, which will be your signal that this time of speaking has ended. Let's continue those conversations in the side aisle after the service. Now let's sing our first hymn, which is number 243, which is All Things Bright and Beautiful. As is our custom, please listen to Michael play through the full introduction, then rise as you're able to sing hymn 243. Please be seated. Except for any children and young people, please come forward for our time for all ages. Good morning. Do you like fruit? Yes? Do you like fruit? No. Do you have a favorite fruit? Orange. Ooh, that's a nice one. So, what I want to talk about this morning is to tell you that in mid-January, it's wassailing time. Have you heard of wassailing time before? No? It's a time when people go out into the apple orchard and encourage the trees to produce a good yield in the coming year. Do you know have you heard of orchard before? You have heard of it? Do you know what it is? It's
like a bunch of trees with fences.
Ah, yes, a bunch of trees with fences. That's an orchard. So it's believed that the spirit of the orchard, also known as the apple tree man, lives in the oldest tree. So we gather around and wassail that tree. We sing to it, make noise to drive away any lurking evil spirits, and give the tree a drink of cider and a piece of bread. So there's an old tale that talks about wassailing the apple tree man. Do you want to hear it? Oh, good. Okay. So this is the tale of the apple tree man, as told by Margot Letts. So in the Middle Ages, there was a farmer who had a nice-sized farm in Somerset in England. He ran it with the help of his two sons. The oldest was a kind and gentle man, but the younger son was mean, selfish, and jealous of his older brother. When the father died, the youngest son inherited the land, as was the custom in those days. The younger brother, let's call him Yob, didn't like his older brother, Orson, and wanted to kick him off the land, but to honor his parents' wishes, he allowed Orson to stay in an old cottage on the far side of the property. The old chap who had lived there had recently passed away, and the place was empty and about to fall down. The old house came with an even older barn, and along with the barn, Orson inherited a donkey with a bad leg and an ox with a broken down sway back. I think I even have a picture. So this is the donkey and the ox and the old gnarled apple trees. And for this little tumble-down section of the farm, Yob demanded a very high rent from his brother. But Orson loved his father's land and decided to stay and make the best of things. So he set about making repairs and taking care of his donkey and his ox. He grew vegetables to feed the animals. As he cared for them, they began to get better. Around the apple trees, he fertilized the land and pulled up all the weeds, and he trimmed off any dead branches. When Christmas time came around and everyone was celebrating for 12 days, as they did in those days, Orson had no one to celebrate. Yob wouldn't let him go home to be with the family, so he made special meals for his donkey and his ox, and each evening he sat in the barn and talked to them while he drank his cider. On the 12th and last night of Christmas, he fed his animals, then went out into the orchard with his mug of cider. He went over to the oldest apple tree, as was the tradition, and he sang a little song and asked the tree to give a good crop of apples in the coming year. Then he poured his mug of cider around the roots of the old tree. To his great surprise, the old tree began to open up and an old man stepped out. I think I have a picture of this. So there's a very old drawing of the old man, the apple man. "Who are you?" said Orson. He wondered if he'd had too much cider. The old man said, "I'm the apple tree man. I'm the spirit of the orchard, and I always inhabit the oldest tree. I wanted to come out tonight and thank you for the drink of cider and tell you that the apple trees are very happy with the way you've taken care of them this year." Orson smiled. "It's been a pleasure." Then his face saddened. "But unfortunately, this is probably the last year I'll be able to live here because I can't afford the rent." Apple Tree Man patted Orson on the back. "Don't worry," he said. "You won't have to leave. Just dig down in my roots where you poured the cider, and there you'll find a sack of gold. But don't tell anyone." Orson promised and thanked the apple man, who disappeared back into the tree trunk. Orson went and got a trowel and dug very carefully between the roots so he wouldn't harm the tree. And he pulled out a sack filled with gold coins. It was more money than he'd ever seen in his life. He took the gold back home and he hid it under a floorboard. No sooner had he finished than his younger brother appeared at the knocking on the door. Yob charged in without knocking. He said, "Listen, I've heard a rumor there's gold hidden somewhere. So tonight at midnight, I'm going out to the barn alone to see if your animals know where it is. Because as everyone knows, at midnight on 12th night, all animals have the power of speech." So at midnight, Yob marched out to the barn and opened the door. Donkey and ox looked up. Yob growled, "I want to know where the gold is buried." The two animals looked at each other, then broke into laughter. Donkey said, "Hey, ox, get this. This man's looking for the gold." Ox threw his head back and laughed some more. "Well, he'll never find it because someone else has already taken it." Yob stomped around the barn. "Who took the gold and where are they? That was my gold. Tell me who took it." But the animals just closed their eyes and didn't say another word. A few days later, Orson paid his rent, as he did for many years to come. He continued to take care of his little corner of the farm, and you can be sure that on 12th night he went out to the orchard and gave a cup of cider to the apple tree man, and every year he had a bumper crop of apples. I think that might be him. He could afford a ukulele. So I think you have a bumper crop of fun to go to in Bright Lights now. So next we shall sing you out to Bright Lights. So now I invite you into a time of prayer and meditation. We come together in fellowship each Sunday with hearts full of joy and full of concern. If you're holding someone in your heart this morning, I invite you to say their name aloud in the coming moments of stillness, so that we may also hold them in our prayers. Spirit of life and love, God of our hearts. We give thanks for those who bring us joy and pray for the safekeeping of those whom we hold in concern. For all those names, spoken and unspoken, may they be surrounded by the loving kindness we offer them today. Blessed be, and amen. Now we have a reading, and James is going to provide that for us. Thank you, James.
Today's reading is from a book by Cliff Reed from Unitarian, What's That? It's entitled, Is There a Unitarian Spirituality? Within the Unitarian historical tradition, there have been many strands. These include deeply devotional Christian and theistic forms, as well as a strong belief in the necessity of reason. Religious humanism has also played its part by locating the focus of spiritual concerns wholly in our life in this world, rather than in realms or beings deemed supernatural. Another long-standing and now resurgent theme is that of nature, or the creation as replete with spiritual significance. In a sense, there has always been something of a shifting balance between two tendencies. On one hand, there is the rational, scientific, and discursive. On the other, there is the intuitive, the emotional, and in its true sense, the mystical. While there may not be a single Unitarian spirituality, it could be said that the spectrum of Unitarian spirituality covers this range. Unitarians would not see the poles of this spectrum as in opposition. We see a healthy spirituality as one that holds in balance the intuitive and the rational. Active respect for both the mind and the deepest emotions is necessary for wholeness of spirit.
Thank you, James. So please join us in singing our next hymn, which is number 249, Life is the Greatest Gift. Thank you. Please be seated. Let us enter a time of prayer, after which we will have music for reflection, when you can come forward, if you wish, to light a silent candle of joy or concern. Spirit of life and love, God of our hearts, as we seek connection with someone or something beyond ourselves, we remain humbled by the awesome complexity of the universe, the miracle of creation, and the grace of the ultimate Spirit. At this time of prayer, let us give thanks for our community and our many gifts by naming our blessings quietly to ourselves in these moments of stillness. Recognizing our woes and faults, let us sit quietly with those parts of ourselves which cause us discomfort, with a spirit of gentle understanding and forgiveness. Spirit of the divine self, we open up our hearts to listen to the wisdom of the still, small voice that may speak in these quiet moments. God of our hearts, let this small act of worship send a ripple of loving kindness from this place to our loved ones, our acquaintances, and to the wider world. Oh God, may we become the embodiment of divine love. Blessed be. Amen. So it was almost 3 weeks ago that the Christmas season ended with the Epiphany on 6th of January, which in Christianity is the story of the 3 wise kings who traveled afar following a star of prophecy. They found and adored a tiny baby and lavished him with rich and symbolic gifts. Then the 3 kings departed homewards, carrying on wisely and also kindly, because they took an unexpected path home, so as not to give away the location of baby Jesus to the spies of the bloodthirsty and power-mad King Herod, who had vowed to kill his infant rival. This dramatic chapter ended the annual Christian festival that takes over our public and private lives in the darkest part of the year in this part of the world. This period between Christmas and Lent now, which leads us up to Easter, in the liturgical calendar is called ordinary time. So here we are in ordinary time. It sounds a bit boring or even depressing, just plain ordinary. How about those New Year's resolutions? How are they going? Yeah, I thought so. Oh dear. So it's no surprise, perhaps, that tomorrow is the 3rd Monday in January and has been dubbed Blue Monday, the lowest point in the calendar for our mood. It's like living in Narnia in The Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. Always winter and never Christmas. It's so long until payday at the end of the month for some of us, and with all those bills piling up. So we can take a moment to feel a little bit sorry for ourselves. But then let's reflect that the Blue Monday idea was apparently started by a travel company in an effort to market sunny holiday escapism. I don't know if that's true, but the Christian calendar, of course, overlays a much older, more agrarian time where the sun reaches the tipping point of solstice. This means the sun stands still in December, in the sense that the days stop getting shorter and then gradually start to lengthen again. Imagine being a farmer before electric light and other modern conveniences, and dependent on for your food on what you had stored and the wood stores that you had chopped, and your livestock to stay alive and well enough to complete the spring planting and to make it through many more months till you finally get to the next harvest. No wonder people celebrated Yule when the sun again started to make its way over the horizon earlier each day. So now, the apples left in storage in the shed are maybe getting a little withered, a little wrinkly, but still sweet. You may well feel like going out into the cold, frosty orchard and wassailing your nearest fruit tree to make an offering right about now. It's maybe not a bad idea to give a little drink of your cider to the resident apple man. But back to here and now, if wassailing leaves you cold, for those of us living in an urban world and cut off for centuries from living directly off the land, these are quaint tales from the past. We have busy modern lives to conduct. Perhaps we might turn to today's news and spy a little story saying that, insects are in terminal decline, bees and even wasps. Well, I absolutely hate being stung by those, so the less of them, the better, right? However, our apples and pears and all fruits and vegetables require those pesky creatures to pollinate them in order to set fruit or to get seeds to grow more next year. For me, this is a key part of being Unitarian. If to the question of where have the insects gone, there is a glib answer, "Who cares? Good riddance." Well, that needs to be questioned, interrogated, held up to scrutiny in the light of history, science, reason, and common sense. We, as Unitarians, resist the oversimplified, short answer, and we won't be dumbed down. We dissent. We reserve the right to question, and crucially, also to change our minds. And sometimes we even try to challenge other people's minds. When I first came to this community over 20 years ago, I came to some Sunday morning services like this one. And one day I was struck by the then incumbent Reverend Jim Robinson described a picture of the Earth taken from the Voyager spacecraft from 4 billion miles away. A tiny, fuzzy, pale blue dot alone in the black enormity of the cosmos is what it showed. You could barely see it. It was less than 1 pixel. But this is still only the only world that we know to harbor life and our only home. Had I found my spiritual home in Rosslyn Hill Chapel? Well, maybe. I asked someone casually over tea in the side aisle if they were interested in nature and ecology, and they gave me an unadorned, unequivocal no, not in the slightest, and turned away. I was a bit taken aback and thought, well, maybe British Unitarianism doesn't encompass that side of life. Another chap I met here, in response to my concern I had expressed over the problems of excessive burning of fossil fuels, showed me a video on his phone of one of Elon Musk's rockets doing something very cool. It didn't blow up. And he lent me his popular science book on the wonder of petrochemicals. So I read that, and it was quite interesting, I suppose, but it was also off-putting. As I recall it, tucked within the reams of wonder about our discovery of the numerous uses for fossil oil was a very short section of concern that we might have passed peak oil and it might soon run out. But there was no mention of the pollution that would result from extracting and burning it as fast as humanly possible, which seems to be the aim for that industry. So the implication underlying this was that the received wisdom is that the majority feel compelled as a society to do whatever we, or maybe someone else, likes, and to minimize or deny that there are any pitfalls. The chapel reflects the society it is a part of course. But I felt unseen and unheard here, powerless. I'm afraid that was just the same as in every other arena of my life at the time, as a mom of 2 young children and a temporary employee of a large institution. And yet, at the same time, here, right in the center of the chapel, some evenings, there were, and still are, the regular 8 wheels of the year pagan celebrations. They were run at that time by long-term chapel members Ingrid Tavkar and Hilary Ratna. Hilary's car had a bumper sticker that stated, "My other car is a broom." So I stuck with the chapel with the encouragement of Reverend Jim, who heard my concern. I, over time, organized an energy survey. I helped change the light bulbs to low energy ones. I put reminder stickers on the light switches to switch them off. Some of them are still there. I put bricks in the toilet cisterns to save water, and I helped build the magnificent compost bins at the back gate. Do pay a visit of homage sometime. I helped organize more recycling of rubbish and more sustainable catering. But I also spoke with some chapel members who were part of the media at the time, and I learned that recycling and personal efforts, while worthy, are not enough. We need bigger systems thinking and to challenge our leaders and industry to mitigate the shocking damage and harm that's being caused by business as usual. I became a chair of the Board of Trustees briefly in 2007. And again, I've stepped into that role since 2020 up until now. It's been a big part of probably the most demanding and rewarding period of my life. Soon, my time on the board will end. But I hope, with the grace of God, however that manifests, to continue as a member in good standing. This afternoon, a group of us are starting a new book club, looking together at the Unitarian Lindsay Press offering called Cherishing the Earth, Nourishing the Spirit. All are welcome to any or all of the planned 4 sessions. The aim is to share and grow, even if you haven't read the book. And now there are many other opportunities to explore your spiritual path you may find through nature, including there is now a second venue for Wheel of the Year in Heart Spaces down in Essex Hall, as well as here in our chapel. We run regular local climate cafes in collaboration with Churches Together and the Hampstead Community Forum. And nationally, our chapel has recently stepped up to help run the long-standing Unitarian Earth Spirit Network. And there is an active U4CJ, which is Unitarians for Climate Justice group, on WhatsApp and Facebook, with regular in-person events around the country. My own epiphany has been to realize that when you have met one Unitarian, you have met one Unitarian. We are not only all individuals, but it's a tenet of the faith that we do not have to think alike to love alike. Here in our community, we have the opportunity to hear, think about, and discuss many aspects of our lives and our world. We may want to be activists and march for justice, or we may want to be on hand to help practically in case of disaster, like someone in the neighborhood becoming homeless. We may want to focus on God, spirituality, and what that means for us. Or we may simply need a breathing space, a bit of peace and beauty, a pause for ourselves in our busy week when we visit the chapel for a service. I know I do. And we need a calm space and gentle companionship to be at hand when dealing with life's inevitable catastrophes. If you need to put on your own oxygen mask first before helping others, that's okay. As Unitarians and as human beings, let us think, speak, listen, and act freely, but also with thought, care, and compassion for those who are not like us. Help us learn to recognize the superficial soundbite, the artificial intelligence hallucination, and TikTok post for what they might be: engagement for monetized clicks, or even rage bait. Or perhaps some of them are an honest attempt to communicate, and we need to delve deeper. Let's sing our final hymn. The words are in your service sheet. The tune is, some of you may recognize, is similar to Golden City. Thank you, everybody. Well sung. Please be seated. Our final blessing comes in the form of a reworking of the Lord's Prayer from Maria Curtis, who is the editor of the book Cherishing the Earth, Nourishing the Spirit. Divine Spirit of compassion, we humbly open ourselves to your loving grace. Fill our hearts and minds with your wisdom. Help us to see the right path and to choose it. May our daily needs be met so that we are free to love without boundaries. May we be grateful for the gifts of the earth and responsible for her care. May we forgive ourselves and others when we constrain our love or cause harm. Acknowledging our human frailty, we ask for strength at testing times. May the power of love reign supreme. The collection will now be taken. Thank you to Michael Vesey for our beautiful music today, and to all our staff and volunteers. And finally, thank you to all of you for your gifts of time, talent, and treasure. Please join us now for refreshments in the side aisle. That was less hairy than I thought it would be, actually. Thank you.